Yes, Harika. हा चल 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 नाही मी करतो ना नॉर्मल. काय समजणार आपल्याला? तुमच्या मोबाईलवर किती झाला टाइम? मोबाईल नाही आणला का? अरे माझा घ्यायचा होता ना. Done? Yeah. A warm good morning to everyone. Welcome to the class. So today we are taking a session on the introduction topic of the subject called as Lean Management and Theory of Constraint. So this course is for the fourth semester and it is taken for the specializations of operation students. So I am Professor Roshan and I am trying to tell you about the overall topic, overall view of the course and how this course is quite important for your promotions. Yeah, sorry for that. So the topic lean. So when we speak about lean, lean basically speaks about uh, things can be cut down. So when we speak about cut down, it is more about related to waste. So when we speak about lean, the main thing which comes into picture is waste. So when I speak of waste, we have to understand that what is waste first. It is very, very crucial to understand that waste is something which is not accepted by the customer. So when we speak about customers, it's a simple fact that with customers, we have to understand the customer's value. A customer will only be valuing things which he considers for himself are better. Example, you are a company who is manufacturing automobiles. A customer will only be happy when he actually receives the vehicle and he's actually driving it. But he won't be happy if the vehicle is not performing as predicted by the company or as stated by the company. So it's crucial to know that companies have to provide the customers whatever the customers require. So when we speak about value, a value will always be defined according to the point of view of the customer. So when we speak about value, it is more related to the customer's point of view. A customer will always see value when he feels that the product is giving him whatever it is required, what it is supposed to give him. The main fact or the main problem happens in companies is that they don't understand this customer's value. What is that value which we have to give to the customers? So what happens is that we try to make sure that okay, transportation is one of the wastes which can come into picture. There is a waste of waiting which can come into picture. All these things will form a part of the lean thing. So coming back to what is lean. So when we speak about lean, it was the concept of lean has come in the year 1984. There's a team of scientists from MIT who were actually doing a research. They were doing a research about comparison of vehicles manufactured in Japan and vehicles manufactured in USA. So during this research, they were focusing more on the Toyota production system. That is where lean came into picture in. So James Womack with his team had written a book that is The Machine That Changed the World. This book was very uniquely specific to the point that lean as a concept was coined in the year 1984. It is based mostly on the Toyota production system. So when we speak about the Toyota production system, it's crucial. Toyota has been a grand success during the years. Toyota has been a company which has faced a lot of criticism in recent years, but they have come out of the criticism, and the system of Toyota production system is actually very, very crucial for the success of the company. So because of successful of Toyota during the recent years, it has been noted that lean management is becoming a very, very important topic throughout the manufacturing sector. People, managers are right now in this century realize that it has been very, very crucial for their development. So lean has gained a lot of popularity in the last decade or so. This popularity has been through people doing more research, through people publishing more articles, and this has helped lean as a concept to be known to number of people around the globe. Many managers are right now trying to focusing upon taking the advantage of lean. There is a misconception stating that lean is only used for manufacturing. I want to state you that lean is not only used for manufacturing, it can be used for services, be it retail, be it teaching, be it education sector, be it entertainment industry. Everywhere lean concept can be applied. So the lean forms a crucial. It can you can state it to be a management philosophy, a philosophy which can be applied to service sector as well as manufacturing sector. Lean has grown, and people are accepting it throughout their change processes. Basically, lean is more focused on understanding, on improving the processes. This brings me to a crucial definition of what is lean management. So when we speak about lean, there has to be a definition. So according to the definition, the lean management definition states that it is it is a system, or it's a philosophy wherein you try to focus on cutting down all your waste. The word term waste is called as muda, which is a Japanese word for waste. So it focuses on trying to cut down these waste in such a manner that your overall flow is a smoother one. When we speak about flow, it is the flow from the part of the manufacturers to the part of the customers. So the flow is the flow of the product, the flow of the information should be crucial, and it should be in such a manner that it is delivering the product to the customers in a proper way. So when we speak about lean, it is more about more about understanding what is the overall we can say the overall depth in which a system can be improved. So when we speak about improvements cannot happen every day. They have to be done in a proper manner, in such a way that they are incrementally done, and it will lead to a global advantage to the company. So when a company or the lean, the focus of lean basically is to focus on improving the systems of a company in such a manner that this improvement will lead to the delivery of value. So if you recollect, in the first part of my session, I spoke about value. So when we speak about value, the main philosophy of lean is to deliver the value to the customer. So the customer is satisfied with the product, the customer is satisfied with the company which is serving the product, and he is a happy customer. So lean will always be focusing on removing the waste. So let's go back to the definition of waste, which I specified in the first start of the session. When we speak about waste, it's a simple word. Okay, waste is something like extra things which are not required. So when we speak about extra things, it will always be classified as a non-value added activity. Activities which are value added and activities which are non-value added activity. This non-value activity are a part of the waste. So coming back to our example which I gave, that if you are a company which is manufacturing cars, a customer will always be happy only when he receives the final product. If there is in a delivery, if there is delivery delay of the product, the customer will not be happy. If the product is not as as, as mentioned by the company, the person or the customer will not be happy. So companies have to consider these points. So when we speak about the identification of waste is very, very important. What happens is that companies, to this identification process happens in a proper manner, because lean focuses on identification of waste. It focuses on identification of waste and removal or elimination of waste. With elimination of waste, we can achieve a company's lean So when we speak about waste, we'll be seeing the detail of waste in our sessions. The modules start when the courses starts in detail. We'll be dealing with all the conception of the idea of how this waste has been identified, and who was the person who actually looked into this, and how did waste as a part of lean came into picture, right? So just to give a simple example, if I person am I have ordered some I have ordered some, maybe if I say, okay, I have ordered a mobile from a company and online service. The As a customer, I will not be interested in how many dealers they have. I will not be interested at how many, from which place to which place they are transporting the item. I am only considered with what is when the delivery of the item is happening. I will not be considered what how the transportation is happening, how is happening. These things will not be considered by the customer. So customer is only eager for the final product, and it's the way the final product works, satisfying him. So he's not considered with the transportation. He's not considered with the duplicate information. He's not concerned with those duplicate information if the company has or something like that is created on the back end. The customer is not aware of, and he's not interested at all. These parts form a part of the waste. These are what we call as waste or muda. So they in the definitions of waste are in detail, and they have identified around 7 kind of waste which are there, and this waste we'll be seeing in details in our different modules. And to tell you that lean, to come back to our definition of lean management philosophy, again, it's a philosophy. It is not a cost cutting technique. It's a philosophy which has to be ingrained into the system of the company. If it is not ingrained in the system of the company, there are chances that you would specify that, okay, yes, am I've adopted lean, but you won't be seeing the results. So as a philosophy, it is necessary for every person to believe in that philosophy of lean, and only then lean management can be applied in a proper manner. So the main focus of lean is identification of muda, that is waste, and elimination of waste. They have to do it in a systematic manner, because when a company does it in a systematic manner, it helps to improve the processes, it will help improve the products, it will help to improve the overall environment of the company. And that is the change what lean brings into. Lean management as a philosophy brings all these things into picture, right? So moving forward, so this is the first company which I want to give an example of. I have a few examples which will be dealing the example of FedEx. The FedEx delivery, also to the maintenance of aircraft, because the thing packages and the logistics partners. So a crucial part, or the spending part, difficult. You can say it involves a lot of expenses, a lot of people involved, and it takes. So FedEx actually was looking into improvising these things. They had an idea of how improvements can be done, and they thought of, let's go ahead with lean management. So in the year 2008, they actually went ahead in their Los Angeles airport department, or the place where they have their aircrafts, and tried to implement lean, a small part. So maintenance, maintenance is very, very crucial for the aircraft, and it has to be done periodically. But it takes a longer time and a longer duration, and people involved, tech involved, have to be eligible. That's what it is required. So previously, before involvement of lean management, FedEx used to do 14 C checks per year. after the implementation of lean, they have around 35 C checks per year. That's a huge number. That's a huge number, right? Involvement. Previously, before involvement, they used to spend around 32,000 man hours. But after implementation of lean, that man hours requirement was dropped down to around 20,000. So if you observe, there is improvement. They are able to control the expenses because it's a simple logic. If you're cutting down somewhere, you will be saving out. If your expenses are cut down, you will be saving out in other things. Lean is trying to find out or has helped them to improve their processes, you can say. So with the with the implementation of lean in the Los Angeles International Airport, they understood, FedEx understood that okay, this is a facility which has wherein we applied lean and it has actually worked now is that you as a person, you as a person are interested in knowing the advantages of lean. And yes, it has been implemented properly. We have seen the results. So that was what FedEx achieved. And this was slowly implemented to all the other facilities. There were around 170 facilities, and out of that, 100 are situated in the US. So that was a huge, what you can say, improvement which has happened because of lean. They have been able to cut down in their man hours. They have been able to cut down their expenses. They have also got improvements in their processes and much more faster things of maintenance are being done. Moving to the next example, Nike. Yes, everybody has heard about. This is again one of the biggest multinational companies which is into footwear, into apparels, and Nike also implemented. They had got the advantage of how lean improves their improves their processes, how lean has cut down all their waste, unnecessary waste, and how they are able to deliver more value to the customers. The unique thing while lean was implemented was that they had a unique benefit. Nike had a benefit wherein they were able to reduce their poor label practices by 15%. So lean actually can be helpful in all these parameters also. Why? Because it, lean actually focuses more on the employee involvement. So Nike had an advantage, or they had got a different, you can say, after applying or application of lean, that was into labor practices. So this labor practices have improved now. They have become better now because lean gives empowerment to the employees. That is one of the advantages of applying lean to your company. The next example is Intel. You have heard about Intel, one of the biggest technology companies. This Intel company has actually been the front runner in all the technology fields. They also implemented. They had observed that it is the market is such a way that we have to more focus on the quality improvement things, and we have to more focus on giving quality customers than providing mass to the customers, or you can say products in masses. So quality products is what a customer looks into. So if he speaks about, they have started implementing lean, and because of the implementation, they understood that okay, now they had a problem with their microchip deliveries, which took about 30 days to the market. With this process of lean, with the implementation of lean in the system, they were able to cut down, or you can say they were able to cut down the number of days to 10. So that was the thing. So from 30 days, it went only to 10 days. So they were able to deliver better quality products to the customers and at a faster rate also. So that is what lean as a lean implementation got them. So if you observe, that is that for the company which have implemented in their systems. And if you observe that the main thing which speaks of, because lean has come from the Toyota production system, so they say it's only applicable to manufacturing, which I say is not the truth, and it can be applied to the service sectors also. The examples which we saw show us that. So we will be having 4 modules, which is a part of the first part. So if you The course name is Lean Management and Theory of Constraint. So the first four modules are focused on lean management. We'll be seeing what is in the first module. We'll be seeing introduction to lean, how did lean involve, how evolution happened, how did the Toyota production place system, and how lean has evolved into what it is today. We'll be seeing the basic definitions of lean. We'll be seeing what are the various kind of muda, which I gave you an idea of. We'll be seeing what is the value of the customers. We'll be seeing all this part, the basic principles of lean. All this will covered in the first module. The second module speaks about lean tools. So the lean tools which are helpful to implement lean. So for example, if I give you a simple example, it's a FIRES. FIRES is a lean tool which can be applied for improving your system. So it's based on the cleanliness model, and it is a simple system which can be applied to all your improvement things. So similarly, there is Kaizen, there is Pokayoka, there is SMID, the single minute exchange of die. All these tools and details will be seeing in module number 2. Module number 3 will be seeing about lean implementation. How you as a person or you as a manager of a company can implement lean. What are the steps we require to follow? Can the steps be synchronized properly? Which steps has to be followed first, and how this interactions can happen in a proper manner. Model number 4 will be seeing more in depth of lean, how lean has been applied, how companies are applying lean. Some case studies will be dealt in detail, and we will be seeing that how lean has helped the companies to improve. Moving ahead to the second part of the course, that is your theory of constraint. So when we speak about theory of constraint, it is the main thing which comes in your mind is the word constraint. Constraint is a simple thing. It's nothing but a limitation or a limiting factor into whatever you're working. Okay, as a company, for example, you are a company who are manufacturing maybe automobiles. There's always be a limitation or a limiting factor, maybe in your human resource, maybe in your machines which you have, maybe in your salespeople which you have. There'll always be a constraint of resources, maybe a constraint of money or something like that. All this will be crucial. So theory of constraint has been developed on this concept, how a company will try to identify their constraint and how this constraint can be rectified, improved, or cut down or removed completely, because constraint is becoming a limiting factor. So you have to make sure that that constraint is removed from the system so that your system works in a proper manner. A simple example I can give you is about a constraint can be defined as a bottleneck of a system. Okay, like you have all have seen bottles, drinking bottles, or maybe the cans of Pepsi, wherein we have a narrow path. So we have a bottle which has a narrow path. The narrow path becomes your bottleneck. So simple thing, if it's a simple example I can give you is, if you are traveling on a highway, it's a four lane highway, and slowly when the toll comes in, the lane cuts down to two, and that two, and now only two cars can pass. That becomes a narrow pathway and becomes a bottleneck. So the simple examples, we'll be seeing all this detail more in specific as the course goes ahead, and that is what constraint is meaning. So this theory of constraint was given by a Israeli person or an Israeli businessman named as Goldratt in his book The Goal. He actually focused on understanding what this constraint is and how this can be improved or removed off. This concept has also it's also has been evolved from a German person. His name is Mr. Wolfgang Mewis. He actually in 1960 came out with similar concept of bottlenecks. So you can say that theory of concept may be evolved, but not totally, from this concept of the German person, which was based upon bottlenecks. So when we speak about definition of theory of constraint, a simple definition, it speaks about identifying of your constraint. A system, it's a philosophy which can be applied into a company, which will help you to identify the constraint. Once the constraint is identified, you try to improve or remove the constraint. That is a limiting factor. A limiting factor has to be cut off. So theory of constraint will always focus on identifying this limiting factor. When we speak about a company has n number of people involved, n number of departments involved. So if you observe, they all are a part of a chain. a chain which can be let's take one second. Sorry for that. A chain, so it's like a chain which can be which is there, and each chain each chain can be identified, and each chain, if one link of the chain is weak, the whole chain will not work properly. So that is what lean focuses, theory of constraint focuses on. Let's take theory of constraint focuses on identifying this limiting factor. This limiting factor has to be identified, and it has to be rectified or removed completely, which will help the system to improve. The example which I have written on the board is about the company called as Tata Steel and Kurlon. Tata Steel has implemented theory of constraint. They have implemented theory of constraint and have got good results from that. They have implemented theory of constraint in their in many of their fields. Like they have done it in their objectives or the mission identification. They have applied theory of constraint in their processes. They have applied theory of constraints in their overall communications with the share with the suppliers, and all these things they have done. This has led to a great advantage for them. Tata Steel was able to reduce their working capital requirements and also improve their delivery processes and many other things. That is the advantage. Kurlon. Kurlon is again one of the companies which is into the mattresses, and this company was also facing some challenges with respect to their products, because if you see mattresses, they have n number of mattresses in requirements are there, because every mattress has their own standard sizes. So this standard sizes become complicates the mattresses. So every customer's requirement is very, very different and crucial, and it becomes very difficult to manage. They have around 6,000 dealers with them, and it was very difficult to understand what was the inventory which has to be maintained at a specific dealer's point. So that was where they implemented lean. But it was, sorry, my mistake. That was where they implemented theory of constraint. Theory of constraint was very, very crucial for them to implement, because that led to understanding of how or what items have to be kept. So they did a study and understood. They actually worked with the Goldratt company, and Mr. Goldratt himself, the person who is involved or who has given us the concept of theory of constraint, was involved in, or the consulting firm which he has established was involved with Kurlon to implement the theory of constraint. They actually identified their 80 products which were into different categories and categorizations, and implemented theory of constraint in such a manner that they were able to understand that what is the requirement of the product or the demand of the product, and channelize accordingly. So they were able to justify how or what number of items have to be kept near the distributors, and this delay of they usually had a longer duration. It usually take around 30 days. That was actually reduced down to a lesser number, and what specified is that they are doing now daily replenishment. That was the thing. Previously they used to do a weekly replenishments. Now they are doing a daily replenishment. So that is the thing. So that is what it is. It has helped them. So theory of constraint has helped them to improve or understand what are the inventory parameters at their end, and what are the things of inventory, because stock out was a major problem which they were facing. But with the implementation of theory of constraint and involvement of all the dealers and distributors in the chain, they are able to identify and improve their processes and improve the system overall. So this is where theory of constraint is very, very crucial for companies. So that is the second part of our course, and our course in this we have around 4 modules in this part of theory of constraint. So we'll be dealing with the introduction part of theory of constraint. We'll be dealing with what are the various so introduction will be more specifically about the terms of theory of constraint, the various processes, the steps. It's called as the POGGI, the progressive improvements of the systems which can be done. Then we have model number 6, which is speaking about how theory of constraint is used into operations. We'll be seeing here the concept of the drum buffer and drum buffer role. That is a concept which rope DBR concept, this drum buffer rope concept. Then we'll be going into understanding the theory of constraint insight into distribution, because like the example which I gave about Tata or the example which I gave about Kurlon, it's specifically speaking about how the improvements have been made into distribution, how the processes were improved, how